Hello everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I'm your host, Ed Troxel, and I am your business development and tech expert. Basically, I help you show up, deliver, and engage online. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Please let us know in the comments. We have a good group of viewers that show up here, both during the live broadcast and the replay. We have international friends, so everyone's just going to be popping in and saying hello. So don't be shy. That's not what we're about around here. I'm going to share this out to my personal profile because I tried something different today, and we're going to talk about that. So come join us. So how is everyone today? Are you guys having a good day? It's Friday. It is Friday. We have so much. If you couldn't tell, bam, we mean business today. So you better be sharing this with your friends. Tag somebody to get up in here. Even if you're watching the replay, that's still fine. You can still bring people over. Don't be shy. But we are going to get some business done today. Who here has heard of Toys R Us? Like, just let me know. We're going to jump like almost right into the content. I'm not going to go straight into that yet, but I want you to start thinking about it. It's been a really busy week. Chrissy says, yeah, for sure. I know. Erica's here. Erica's on time. What's up, Erica? Awesome. Teresa, look it. The people are here. I love it. Whitney, for those who are new, if you show up live, I get to put your comments on the screen. Why would that be important? Why do you care? It's a great question. It allows you to get out there. It allows you to be seen. Yeah, it's like a free promotion. You're welcome. Paula, TGI Friday, whoop whoop. So, like we talked about it yesterday, if you were here on yesterday's show, we talked about, how it used to be back in the day, the TGIF lineup on TV, right, with Urkel and everything. Well, we don't have that anymore. But guess what? We have Ed. That's what you're going to get, okay? That's what you're getting today. Mentally exhausting week. Who else can raise their hand? Mentally exhausting. I hear you. I hear you. Tell me about it. Erica knows I was just having this conversation with her earlier today that I was like, I had to take a 30-minute break today. I know. I had to take a 30-minute break. I still did some things, but I tried to really just tune out for a minute because I have done so much work on the website, you guys, for you. It's ridiculous. And I'm actually going to show you something new / something updated here in a second, but it's pretty awesome. Look at everyone saying, yes, mentally challenging week. Thank you. Geez, I can't even talk today. I'm so excited because we have a lot of stuff that we're going to get to. Hence the board. Whoop, whoop. And water. It was dramatic, right? We had to stop there. First, we're not really going to talk about random news today because we're just going to go for it. We're just diving in. But first, what I want to tell you is what I did differently, because I know you heard me at the beginning of this broadcast. You're like, wait, what'd you do differently, Ed? Right? How many of you guys are wondering? You guys are probably asking, like, Ed, can you tell me what happened? Like, what did you do differently? Well, for those who are regulars, you probably noticed that I didn't schedule this broadcast, meaning I use a program called Ecamm Live, which allows you to schedule a broadcast. So let's say it was 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I scheduled this to go live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, what would happen is that at 3 p.m., Ecamm Live pushes a post out to Facebook on my page saying, Ed's going live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here's a countdown clock, which is super cool. Here's where you sign up, to get notifications. Which is awesome, right? But what before I even give it to you guys, because I have to test you guys. It's Friday, but we're still going to make time to do the work. So why is it important to know that I do normally schedule my broadcasts, but today I didn't? Why do you care? Anybody have an idea? Why did you care? And Chrissy says she did notice. Okay, that's a great response, Chrissy, because I was going to ask if anybody noticed. You guys all showed up, though. You showed up, which is good. That means you have your notifications turned on. And if you're new, you're going to not only like the page, but you're going to follow and hit see first. And then you're also going to, which you can see a video in the pinned post. And you're also going to turn on notifications if you haven't already for the video, which usually I think happens at the end of the broadcast. So be sure to do that. Oh, Erica, look at her coming in with, are you testing a new program? Great. I also noticed Respectful Connections. Yes. And Respectful Connections, who are you? Just so that way everyone in the comments knows who you are. And it reminds Chrissy. Cool. So you have reminders set up. Perfect. Or are you testing a theory? See, I like to make you guys think, wonder. So the reason I decided today not to schedule, because this is what you guys need to be paying attention to. Are you ready? Do you have your notepad? Do you have your Post-its? Are you making a mental note? Because I know some of you guys are cooking. Some of you guys are already in bed with the earbuds in, trying not to fall asleep. UK viewers, I know. There you go, Aaron. Aaron is Respectful Connections, everyone, just as a good reminder. So the reason why I didn't schedule today is because I wanted to test to see if this video actually gets more reach or not. So what does that mean, Ed? What does that mean? Well, you know how Facebook's always changing. You know how they always have, sorry, I was just catching up on some of the comments there. So you know how Facebook's always changing the game. They're always messing things around. And even though scheduling is nice for us, right, the host, it can impact, maybe a little, maybe a lot, you never know, your organic reach. And as most of you know, I don't pay for any ads, at least not at this point. There may come a time where I do that, but right now, you guys all found me organically, all through word of mouth. All of my stuff is all organic. I don't have any paid ads, right? I show up, I deliver, and I engage the crap out of things, right? Like that, yeah, I know, it's weird, but yes, that's what it is. So you have to think about that when you go live, because that's what Facebook wants, right? You have to think about, okay, what kind of tests can you do, right? You want to test your time. You want to test your days. You want to test scheduling versus not scheduling. And since right now we have a consistent show here, we have it currently Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, 5 days a week. I know. And you guys show up. It's crazy. It's awesome. But so I'm not playing with that, right? Like I can't play with the time. I can't play with the days of the week. But I can still play with testing out if I'm scheduling or not scheduling, right? So you have to kind of think outside the box a little bit, and kind of remind yourself, wait, we got in this comfort zone. Let me pull back for a second and see what else I can try out here. Let me catch up on the comments here. Tag Mickey, yes. Yeah, Erica's going to tag Mickey to see what's up. This is a good time, you guys, if you haven't, to tag a friend, bring them in. Like, I know you want to keep me as your secret, and I appreciate that, but we have to share the love. I mean, there's a lot of people out there we got to help. And the only way we're going to help them is if we tag them and get them over here, right? So, yeah, Chrissy says sleep after then. So that's what we're testing. So today, I didn't schedule the broadcast. I just went live because that's kind of the point of going live, right? That's what Facebook wants. So it will just be interesting to see the difference in what happens with that. And then, we'll go from there and see. And, it's hard. You can't just test it one day, right? Today's the end of the week. We don't have a show over the weekend for the most part, so we'll see what the numbers bring up. But it's just always fun to test and see what's going on. I will say the thing I like about scheduling is that I don't have to look at the clock and be like, is it 4 o'clock on the dot yet? Because it just tells you when the countdown timer is done. So I do like that part. And I do like being able to share the broadcast prior to me actually going live, so that I'm not saying here when you guys come on and saying, hey, I'm just sharing to my personal page. I'm sharing to Twitter. I'm sharing to Instagram. Like, I do like that part. So anyway, there's that. What else did we want to cover? Okay. So, I know you guys are probably like, Ed, are you growing a winter beard? It's like spring. I know. You know what this is? This is called work. Yeah. Not trying to work on growing this. It's called work as in I've been so busy working on cleaning up the web presence, doing client work, all of that stuff, that this has just not been a priority. So, there's tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Let me see. Aaron from Respectful Connections. You would think people would want a heads up. Yeah. So see, That's the thing. That's the thing, right, Aaron? You would think that people would want a heads up because you almost never can catch a live broadcast if you don't know about it. So that brings up a great, great conversation real quick, you guys. And you let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. How many of you prefer having a scheduled broadcast go out? Meaning, I would schedule my broadcast within an hour or more of going live so that you guys can sign up for the notifications. Let me know in the comments. It feels like almost a catch-22. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where the rugged look. Yeah, this is called entrepreneur rugged look. Erica says, yeah, I've been trying to make that feel not awkward when I do going live. Yeah. So back to the question, do you prefer seeing a scheduled live or just someone go live? Now that's kind of a tricky question, right? Because you guys know that I'm on a consistent schedule, right? You know that the show, because it's a show, is Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys can change the time for whatever zone you're in, okay? But you know that. So whether or not I have a post that goes out prior saying, hey, Ed's going live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, does that really matter for you guys now that you know the schedule? Let me know. Because like Erin was saying, she prefers a schedule. I do too. Now here's the thing. And again, this can be a catch-22, right? Facebook, there's no magic. We don't know the magic, right? We don't know what's going on here. But we do know that the magic happens in the comments because we're seeing it right now, right? It's like, Aaron says it's like knocking on someone's door randomly instead of calling you to let them know you're coming by. Yeah. And we're going to take it back for a second to the 80s. It's probably before the 80s, but we're going to go back to the 80s. Come and knock on my door. Anybody know? Come and knock on my door. I think I remember the name of it, but I'll let you guys figure that one out. Schedule. Life is too busy to have I have a plan. Wait, schedule. Life is too busy. I have to plan. That's true. Yes, Whitney, I agree. I don't know, but it's an evening and we are winding it down reminds me of. Yeah, I prefer to know the theme of the discussion in advance. Oh, that's a good one, Vicky. That's a good one. Okay, cool. So, yeah, Erica knows what's up. Three's Company. So that it is old. It is old. So when it comes back, Paula says Three's. Look at you guys. I love it. We are all Three's Company right here. So anyway, when it comes to scheduling, here's my take on it. Right, I like to schedule because it gives you a heads up, and it also shows you what it's going to be talking about on the show, right? What we're going to talk about. Now, I can see why Facebook would kind of penalize you. I know that's a harsh word, but penalize you meaning it won't give you that organic reach because you're scheduling ahead of time versus just going live, right? Because going live is like, we just got to go. Just go. Then you got to think again about Facebook is trying to push shows. Like they want you to have a TV show, right? So then you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to schedule it because I'll get in trouble. But then I am supposed to have a consistent show because consistency is good. So wouldn't it make sense to schedule? I'm so confused, right? So how many of you guys are like, yeah, actually, Ed, that's me, right? So I hear you, which is why you have to do this. You have to do these tests. You have to play around with it. Now, when you're just starting out, I will say, like most of you guys have seen from the journey that you've been on here with me, is that you have to go through and build up some momentum with that. Meaning, if you know you're going to do a show like Ed Talk TV, then you need to be consistent out of the gate, and you need to do some kind of scheduling, whether that's through a program or just letting your audience know through a flyer on a post, through a video post, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like you have to put that out there in some way, shape, or form until people get used to it. And then you can kind of test the scheduling or not. Like just play with it. I mean, that's the only advice that we all have for each other is you have to just test and see what happens. It makes sense, right? So remember the episode of Three's Company where they were misunderstanding? I only remember the three characters, like the way they look and then come and knock on my door, which again, if we're talking about business, right? We're talking about user experience. We're talking about technology on the show. When you think about it, the fact that it's been so long for some of these shows, like Three's Company, and yet we still remember come and knock on my door, and that that's the vibe, right? I can't sing very well, but that you still get you're still like, oh yeah, get it, Ed, get it, right? So that still is a good marketing, right? It's good marketing because it's still a jingle that's in our head. So think about that. Now, speaking of going back in the day, but before we go there, I know, we're going to get there. But before we do, I need to show you this because this is what I've been working on really hard for the whole week. And I need to show it to you guys because I'm really excited. And it's kind of a first look, sort of. I mean, I've asked for feedback from a few people, so it's not really a first look. So keep that in mind. Every episode was misunderstanding. The joke went over Ed's head. Oh yeah, you guys, if you're trying to joke right now, like seriously, it will probably go right over my head because it's Friday and as Erica knows, I'm tapped out. Like most of us are all tapped out, right? I'm like done. So little things are probably going to go way over. Like I can't think too much. I just got to let you guys have it, right? I thought we were going in straight away. Yes, we were, right? We were. So here we go. I am going to share my screen and we'll get rid of that old comment from Mickey. Thank you. So what are you guys looking at? Oh my goodness. What did Ed do? Jeez. Well, you guys, this is a quick, I'm going to shout out a promo here. So FYI, it's going to be super quick, but this is me being proud of this. It doesn't matter whether or not you subscribe to this, this membership. I just want to show you, and it helps you understand kind of how to go about things when you're building things. I'm not going to go too far into depth of this. I will in my group, but not here, just because I want to keep this short. But now, you heard me talk about before Check with Ed monthly. I needed to rebrand that. I needed to clean that up, and I did. So now it's called Hey Ed, as in, hey Alexa, hey, I can't say her name because she's listening to me, hey Google, it's that kind of thing, right? Well, now you have Hey Ed, and there you go. You can see the names all right here because I can't say her name. She'll get in trouble right now. But I want you to see that, hopefully, look at Chrissy, you're on here. If you didn't see that, I did a quick little training video that I wanted to post here just to give people an idea if they've never seen the show or whatever, And I'm sure this page needs improvements. Like, you guys can tell me later if you want to actually give me feedback on it. Please do. This is literally hot off the press today. But the reason I wanted to show it to you is not only to promote. I mean, that obviously that's that, but that is not the reason I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share that with you because it's a huge win for me personally. That is something that I actually have always wanted and had in mind, but I kind of have done it, but I haven't packaged it all together nicely, right? The first version was that Check with Ed, which wasn't too long ago, but it wasn't quite there. I had to get to that step though, and I had to go through that work to actually do that, right? To get to this version 2.0, which is amazing. Like, in my own opinion, some of you guys saw on my personal profile, I put it. It's one of those moments, and okay, can we talk about this for a second? And you guys can agree or disagree. You let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. But it was one of those moments, and this is not a cocky thing, right? Because you guys are going to tell me right now. It was one of those moments where you're working so hard, your brain is like on autopilot, just like boom, 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 right? You're just knocking things out of the park. And then at the end, you stop and you're like, dang, I'm good. Like, that's really good, right? How many of you guys have done that? And don't be shy. And if you haven't, that's okay. But it was one of those moments today because it's been a long journey just for that project. And then what you see on the page, like that, I would say that that's probably easy compared to what I've been working on the back end for the members, because there's a whole membership site now built in that allows certain content to go just to those people. I had to create like a login page for them, a formatting of how the posts will show up. I went in and restructured the Facebook group a little bit. Like, there's a lot of work past this page, but this page is what you as a person who's curious would see, right? It's a sales page. So feel free, of course, take a look and you can share any feedback. I'll put the link in the comments just so you have it. But even if it's not for you, that's fine. But if you have any feedback, just let me know. My phone is playing up. I lost you. Where was it? Oh, where were you? You were on my new Hey Ed sales page, Chrissy. That's where you were. It's just a short clip of me showing how to do the videos with the phone. I had that happen this week. It's important to give yourself credit. Right, Erica? Yeah, it is. And that's why I tell you guys, like, I feel like a lot of us, myself included, when we say something like, dang, that was good. You did good. When we say that, we kind of feel like we're cocky, right? I think this is probably the first time I actually posted it on social media and the first time I'm actually saying it out loud live to you guys, which is crazy. But you have to celebrate your work. You have to understand that that's huge. Even if it's just you finally figuring out how to get your button to show up on your website, how to upload a photo to Facebook, how to actually press the go live button, right? Like, all those things, you have to give yourself credit for the little things because they lead to the bigger things. And it's not fair to yourself or to anyone else if you don't give yourself credit. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to build you up, get you to show up, deliver, and engage, right? Chrissy says, oh, I see. Hey, Mindy, perfect timing. So we're going to jump into the content in just a second. Got to get some liquids there. We need to be proud of our journey. Exactly, Chrissy. You have to, because you guys, you work so hard. Even if you think, right now, pause what you're doing, right? If you're listening to me, pause for whatever multitasking. If you're doing the dishes, you're changing the baby, you're almost falling asleep, wake up and listen for a second. You are doing the work. It is okay to give yourself credit. I want you to give yourself credit. Pat yourself on the back, brush off your shoulders if you have to, like whatever you need to do, but give yourself credit today. I give you permission for that, okay? I give you permission. I told you guys should be sharing this with your friends, right? And tagging somebody and share it later because it's going to be good. And somebody, you know somebody needs some kind of ed in their life right now. And you know that this is going to help them. So don't be shy. But you have to be proud. And even the littlest thing, if you got one thing checked off your to-do list today, money, like you did it. You might have had 500 things on that list, but you got one thing checked off, call it a day. You're good. It's Friday. We're good. Okay? Look at Paula. Yes, keeping everyone in check there. Look at her. I'm going to put that real big. Everyone, give yourself a hand. There you go. Perfect. Someone I follow teaches to keep a win. Oh, I love that, Mindy. Look at that. I got to bring that a little smaller, though. A wins journal. All wins, big or small, have to be celebrated. So true. You guys, you can get a journal. I use Trello, so I have an actual card it's referred to in there that's actually my milestones, which reminds me I need to add this to my milestones. Because here's the thing. Why is it important to track that? Why is it important to track your milestones, your wins, no matter what size they are? Why is that important? You let me know, even if you're watching the replay. Yeah, see, Whitney, that's good, huh? Having that journal. I like the journal idea too because it pulls us away from the technology for a second, and you're probably going to have a little bit more, I don't know if passion's the right word, but a little more detail is going to come out when you start writing versus just typing it. I bet you that will happen if you have a wins journal. So the reason you want to have that is because, well, there's probably several reasons. But a few of them would be so that you can reflect on the work that you've done. You can look at it when you're feeling down and out and when you feel like you haven't done anything, when in reality you've done a lot, right? Comments are coming in real quick. Let me see. Did my weekly newsletter today. I have to do mine. Shh. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Paula, it's good to track how far you've come. Yes, exactly. I have a calendar that I put a heart stick. Oh, Aaron, look at you. I like that. For every day I do something to give love to my business. That is a fun idea. I like that. I like that. That is a really cool idea. Does this let me? No, okay. To see how far you have come and how much you have grown. So true. You guys, you will know that the more comfortable you get with video, the easier it is for you to just go on video. It doesn't even matter if it's Facebook Live. It could just be you and your phone. But you're going to realize that you get so comfortable that you start using video to track your progress, if that makes sense. Because you can look at yourself and be like, whoa, that has changed a lot. That has changed. We forget what we've accomplished. So true, Mindy. You guys, when I had my first business, when I created my Mix It Up magazine, which you can't really see, it's on the wall here, but when I first created the magazine, there's so many things from that business that I learned and that I loved, and it was crazy. I'm trying to think. Give me 1 second. I think I might have one copy. Nope, I think it's downstairs. So I'll have to show it to you because that one is in a plaque. I have it actually framed, so I don't want to take it out. But when I first created the magazine, you guys, there was so much stuff that I did for that magazine because I was in hustle mode and I was working 2 part-time jobs while finishing college and running my magazine. And it was a big thing to take on. And managing people that were on my team and putting out 4 issues, both print and online, talking to the printer. I mean, all these things. And you forget all that stuff. And you just have these little things. And so if you don't write them down, you don't realize just how much you've done. I mean, I put on a concert, you guys, at my college to get free promotion for my magazine. I brought to the table a deal for the concert, and I almost forgot about it because I only remembered when I started to look at the videos that I had from that time. Now, they're not like super high quality, but still, it reminded me of that, and I was like, oh yeah, we did that, right? So you have to understand that you have to document, because as much as you're doing, you need to be documenting as well. And you need to cut time out each day to do that, because we do so much in one day. It's crazy, right? Let's jump into Toys R Us. Okay, so the collapse of Toys R Us. How many of you guys have heard about this? That alone is a lot of work, right, Erica? I'm telling you, you guys, entrepreneur born, like right here. It's close to my heart. Business, I can talk business and tech all day long. Most of you guys know me for tech, which is why I've used the business and development and tech expert, because you guys all know me about tech. I've always been a techie, right? And I can break it down for you so that way you can understand. Like that's just natural for me. But most of you guys, and you're starting to obviously pick up since I do the show, but building a good business, building a better business is like at my heart. Like there's so many businesses because there's so many things that go on, right? And so being able to have somebody come in from a fresh perspective into your business and to really look at what's going on, what you need, what you don't need, all that stuff. Like I love that stuff. It's so much fun. And I've done that all my life, right? And now I just have it as an actual business. And like Erica was saying, just doing the magazine by itself was a lot of work. Yeah, it was a lot. I would be going to school in the morning. I'd be working 2 part-time jobs in the afternoon. In between, I'd be working on the magazine, answering calls, and then I would go home, have dinner, and then work after hours on the magazine and any homework I had, of course. You guys, I even had at my photo intern job, I would go on my breaks and sometimes several bathroom trips and go sit in this little, I'm not even kidding you, it's probably like as wide as your screen right now, little phone booth that nobody used. I would go in there and make calls, cold calls, to advertising companies, or to companies to advertise in my magazine. A magazine no one ever heard of. You guys, I got so close to having Adidas and Lucky. Like, I got to the top people on, or right below the top people on getting ads at the time. This was back in 2008, 2010 is when I had ended the magazine. Like, I got that close from doing cold calls in between my jobs, in between my classes. Like, I'm telling you, this is in my blood. This is what I love to do. We're not messing around. We're going to have a good time, but we're not messing around when it comes to business. Like, that's just how it is. We have fun on this show though, right? How many of us are having fun? Okay, Toys R Us breaks my heart. How many of you are familiar with Toys R Us? UK viewers, do you guys have Toys R Us out there? Do you know what that is? Toys R Us, you want to be a Toys R Us kid? Going back to the 80s, right? We've had this 80s theme for the last 2 days. So when it comes to Toys R Us, they are really, they're iconic, right? For at least the UK, for the US. Yes, we do. Perfect. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. You guys do have Toys R Us. Awesome. So they're iconic for all of us. Just want to be a Toys R Us kid. Exactly, right? Like, when you think about the jingles, when you think about these companies, and I just want to be a Toys R Us kid. That's memories right there. Whether you're a kid right now or you've been a kid, right? Like, which is kind of weird to say that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, that my kids are not happy they love Toys R Us. Yeah, it's one of those things like Toys R Us is right here for us. We know that. We love them. I will say I don't have kids, so I haven't bought anything at Toys R Us in a long time. So I know that's partly my blame there, but whatever. But it's one of those things that, again, we talked about yesterday, updates, right? Now, I don't know all the details about their struggles. I know that they struggled for a while, and that they took out a loan to try to help their struggles, which obviously that didn't work. So we'll kind of talk about that for a second in a minute here. But they've really tried. I don't know if I want to say really tried. They tried for that part, and it's one of those things that we all can relate to. We're all like, Toys R Us, no. It's hard to see a lot of iconic stores start to close. Erica says, like Sears, Blockbuster, etc. breaks our hearts, right? Because we all grew up with these stores, and we all grew up during a time where you went to the store. Now, that doesn't mean that the stores are dying in the sense that we don't want stores anymore. Because how many of us right now, even if you're watching the replay, how many of us still prefer to go into a store? It doesn't matter what kind of store, because that's a loaded question, right? You're like, well, I don't like grocery shopping, but if I'm going to buy a new bedroom set, I want to be able to go see it first. I want to go be able to sit on the bed before I actually buy it online, right? Like there's different stories that will tie in there, but how many of you still in some way prefer to go into a store? I do. One, it gets me out of the house, but two, it's nice because you get to see people, and if they have a good customer journey, with customer service, that all ties in, right? If they have a good customer journey, then yeah, you want to go to that store because you feel good when you walk in. You don't have to wait very long. They have clean aisles. Things are where they're supposed to be. People know what they're doing, right? Like there's a whole list there. Is rather go to a store. Yep. See, I want to see mostly the product. Exactly. Sure, I'm going into stores. Yep. Mostly shop online because of the time, but yes, I do. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? We got to break it down for a second. We're all busy, and because of the internet, we're even busier because we spend a lot of time online. So being able to just click a couple things and then have it shipped to us is super easy, right? Thank you, Amazon. And so that's convenient, right? But there's still a time and a place where we want to go to the store. The reason we don't really want to go to the store is because of the time that we lose, not only in getting there, but once we're there, right? You have to think about what's that journey like for the customer. So I'm going to kind of go off here for a second, but this is going to be good for you. Oh, Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's. And Target, even though you know that you're walking out of Target $100 more than what you went in for, it is still kind of nice to go into a Target, right? I mean, it's not as, like they can improve in their aisles and stuff, which they're trying to do, but it's still kind of nice to go in there. So customer journey. I'm gonna talk about that for a second. I do Christmas shopping online, clothing and that kind of thing. I want to go to the stores unless the kids are with me. Exactly, right, Mindy? That's the thing. There's all these different variables. But let me break it down for a second for customer journey, because this is what I try to educate you guys on. You can't just build a business, right? Here, we're going to start with the board. So you have your business. So you have your business, and you're like, cool. Like, we got the business. We know what we're doing. We're gonna hire somebody, right? So we have our team. Whether this is just you and a friend, or this is you and a few VAs, virtual assistants, or you and a whole army of people. Like, that's your team, right? So you have your business. You have your team. But then, if you're a retailer, you have what? What do you have? Anybody? I'm looking at Aaron's comment. I prefer going into a store, but if it's something I don't immediately need or try on. Yeah, exactly, right, Aaron? What do you guys need? Next, if you're a store, you have a business, name / admin stuff, all that. Then you have a team, but you need a store. And, technically, I guess these could be backwards, but it just depends. Depends. Don't worry about my arrows because they're not good. I didn't take drawing class. I took drafting, by the way, but as you can probably tell, I didn't do that great in it, but it's fun. So you have your business, you have your store / team, right? From there, you have to figure out what the customer, I was going to put journey. Customer journey. You see that? Let me back it up a little bit. Backing it up, just so you guys can see that. If you can't read it, that's okay. It says customer journey. So, customer journey. You have to think, and you're doing this, by the way, we're talking right now about retail because we're talking about Toys R Us, but you need to do this for your online business as well. Same type of thing. The store can equal your website. Okay? I'll put store. Retail. Website. There. Can't see it? Business. Team / store. And then store is a retail, or website is your store. Even if you don't sell like products, it's still your website. And then you have your customer journey. So you need to understand, what is that customer journey going to be like? What do I do? For instance, we're talking about Toys R Us, right? Toys R Us has over 700 stores that they are closing, right? So they have over 700 stores. I know that's really hard to see. Let's see if I can just hold it up for you guys. Look. Oh, we'll put it up there. Okay, so Toys R Us has over 700 stores. Each of these stores, right? We'll just branch out here. Has what? Teams. Right? And then those teams have people. Right? Does that make sense? So it's not just the business that's closing. It's not just the stores that are closing. It's not just the teams that are going away, but it's all of the employees that go into that. Now, here's another thing that you have to understand. Sorry, the camera's probably like going whack with that. On top of all this, you have, and this, I don't think, tell me in the comments if you thought of this one, not just for Toys R Us, but for anybody. I feel like this is probably the one element when it comes to a retail location that we don't really think about. Because all we're focused on is the business closing, right? That's what we're really focused on. But what about this? Can't see that. It says landlords. The landlords. How many of you think about the landlords when a business closes? Right? That's another problem. So as Toys R Us is closing more than 700 stores, all of those employees, which I think Paula might have mentioned it yesterday, I think like 30,000 or something, probably more, those employees are going. Not to mention, because we're talking about a store, we're going to pop it off to the side here. Inventory. What are they going to do with all the toys? They have all these toys already in the stores. Over 700 stores are full of toys. And here's the crazy thing. Side note. Toys R Us, and I forget what city, it's somewhere here in California, probably South Bay, East Bay, somewhere, I can't remember. But it was on the news recently because of all of this with their stores closing. They actually just built a brand new Toys R Us in this shopping center that the news was covering. The first thought I had was, why the hell would you build a brand new store when you're already in a lot of trouble? You're already in a ton of debt. Not to mention you took out a loan to try to clear your debt, which is probably never ever good, right? And then you're going to go build a brand new store? Like, somebody wasn't thinking. And I'm sure that probably was not the only store, but that's the one I can reference for you guys. Yeah, Paula says approximately 30,000. Waiting for this big liquidation sale, right? Everyone's like, Toys R Us, I hate to see you go, but when is that sale? Let's just be honest. When is that sale? Because I'm going to be up there with my kids and about 4 or 5 shopping carts, and nobody better elbows up, lean side to side, right? Walking through, lean side by side. There we go. Erica, where you at? Right? So Amazon will buy the toys. That's good. I haven't heard that report, but that's probably what would happen. They would probably get a super cheap discount. I'm hoping I can go Christmas shopping early. There you go. See, you guys are all looking at the benefits of all this, right? But isn't that crazy to think? Isn't that crazy to think, though, about the landlord for a retail location? Think about that. If this was you, and you had over 700 of your stores, I mean, we're going to be honest, like, I'm sure it's not one landlord that owns all these stores, but I'm sure one landlord owns a few stores in certain areas, right? Now, you just lost one of your biggest accounts who's had some of the biggest stores, and now you're out of money and you have these big stores. Who the heck is going to buy them? I mean, rent them, at least build in there. Oh no, did I lose you guys? No, there we are. It glitched out for a second. I was like, dang, we're that good? We're like burning up the internet over here. I told you guys should have been sharing this. There we go. We got comments back. Cool. Already have too many toys. Exactly. Just took a carload to sell at the consignment store. Yeah, right? I mean, especially, you guys, I don't have kids, but I know a lot of my friends do, and I'm like Uncle Ed to everyone, and I will tell you, toys, nobody's got room for them. All these kids got way too many toys, right? So that kind of plays a part in there too. Erica, I was sneaking. Mickey, you've been missing some good stuff if you're just coming in right now. I mean, we just did elbows up, lean side to side. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right? Erica says payback. So if this was you, landlord, right? Now you have all of your stores, whether it's 1, 10, 50, 100, whatever, all those stores are going to be empty. How are you going to fill them? What are you going to do with your property? Who's going to actually rent them? Because who needs that much space these days, right? Nobody. It's too expensive for anybody to just jump in there, which is why most of us have online businesses, right? That's why I have my online business. You think, I love business. I love it. And I will help those who have retail locations and everything. But because I help with the customer journey, that is a huge one, which is why a lot of these iconic ones that we've grown up with, I think a huge part of that, why they're closing, it really comes to, I'm generalizing because, again, I don't know their history, but I'm going to generalize for a second. It most likely comes down to not researching, keeping up with the research and keeping up with the times and thinking ahead, and not having that customer journey follow through. Because they all started with a customer journey, right? It got comfortable, and that's probably where it stopped. And then when it came to the oh crap moment, it was too late. And it's too late, right? So that's a hard spot to, it's hard. It's really, really hard to go through. Doesn't Toys R Us own any? Toys R Us might own some of the locations. That's a good point, Teresa. They might own some. Either way, it's like, who's going to buy them, right? Buying and leasing, like who has that money to do that, and what would they put in there? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But I thought right before this live, I thought, how interesting is that when a business closes, the only, at least for me, what normally happens is we think, oh my gosh, Toys R Us is closing. Oh my gosh, Sears is closing. Oh my gosh, whatever is closing. And then we remember that they had a store, a physical location, and that's going to be closed. Then we think about the teams, and we're like, oh, the people are losing their jobs. Oh my gosh, no. Like, that's horrible. Which it is. I mean, all of this is bad. But then we don't remember that a lot of the times there's still that landlord. Which, I mean, ideally they have, usually if you're a landlord, you probably have more than one property. So there's that. But with a big client like this, it's going to hurt. It's really going to hurt. Right? Aaron says, giant retail space are tough. There is a giant space near Safeway in Petaluma, where she's at in Northern California, where the Halloween store goes. Yep, the rest of the year it's empty. Also several downtown stores. Yeah, how many of you guys can relate in your area? UK viewers, I'd be curious to know, are you noticing that a lot too in your area? Here in the US, especially in Northern California, that's where we're at, we can see that there is a lot of stores that are closing. And it gets depressing because you're like, oh, there's another store. And you guys, I'll tell you right now, when I drive by stores and I see new businesses open, I get jazzed. And I'm like, yes, I love that. I don't want that overhead. I do not want that overhead. I hope that they're got a good plan because they're going to need it, right? You have to tie in online. You have to think about that customer journey, which we're not going to get into today. But the customer journey is by far, it's probably more important than your actual business plan. And when I say plan, I'm not talking about, your 10-page binder full of like the actual business plan. I'm talking about like you came up with a good business idea, but where's the customer journey? Because if you don't have a customer journey, this ain't happening. It's not going to last very long. So you need to pay attention to that. Yeah, right? The Halloween store is faithful. That comes in and out of every opening, every big store that's available. We have a whole mall that shut down. Yeah, see? Malls too. And it's so sad when we see this, or at least for me, because I love business. But it's so sad because let's just start with a mom and pop shop, right? Like somebody worked really hard, ideally, to go through and to do all of this, right? They talked to a landlord. They signed the contract. Hopefully they had a business plan in place. Hopefully they thought about their finances. They went through the steps to really get it up and running, and something happened. And the story is different for everyone. So again, I'm just generalizing in terms of what's happening with Toys R Us and these big retailers. I think on a more smaller scale, like on our type of small businesses, we have more control in that sense. Because when you think about these corporations, these big players, it has somebody, you have to bring in someone like me, right? Who would be an employee of theirs, unless they were like, okay, we really need help. But usually with these, what happens is that doesn't happen until later. Again, I'm totally generalizing, but it makes sense though, right? Usually they don't think that they have a problem until they actually have a problem. And so then it's harder for that person to come in and like work on that. But they've been going good for so long that, and kind of stuck in their ways, that it's like, well, why would we change? I used to, I was a marketing assistant for a web design company. Great place. It was awesome. The hard part was that I couldn't do my job in terms of working with social media and coming up with advertisements and really like working that social media angle and that marketing angle, because they didn't want to move forward and they didn't think social media worked in their favor. And this was years ago, guys. So, and that's just being open about, you have to be able to, it's just like feedback. You have to be open to listening to what your employees are suggesting and thinking about your business and how it works with what you've built, but also more importantly, what's going on now. Because things change so quickly. You know this. Things change so quickly. So it's one of those things that you have to think, okay, I, the business owner, right, can't possibly stay up on every single detail that changes because I'm so busy doing X, Y, Z. But that doesn't mean that you can't look or have a weekly or monthly check-in, if you will, with the news, with what's going on in your industry, but most importantly, outside your industry, right? Because if you just stick within your industry for that research, you might not be able to see the bigger picture. You might not be able to see what opportunities are out there for you, which is why it's important to, kind of open up your horizon there. Just kind of get an outside perspective, which is why we hire coaches, we hire outside help, not because it's something we don't want to do all the time, right? Like most of the time you hear online all the time for online businesses, hire a VA because you don't have time to do it and you don't want to do it. Okay, that's fine, but that's not the only reason you would hire somebody to do that work. You would hire somebody to help you get a fresh perspective, to help you understand that other side of things, right? To bring in something new for you, if that makes sense. I'm just going to check the comments real quick. Back in the day when I was directing commercials, I tried to get a car dealership to consider a social media campaign, thinking forward at the time. Yep. And they were so close-minded to the idea because of old school mentality. Thank you, Erica. Thank you. That is exactly what my example was tying into. It's one of those things that you have to be open. You just have to. I mean, you guys know, like right now, we know at a basic level, you have to be open to going live, right? If you have a business and you have a business page on Facebook, you have to be open to going live in order to show up, deliver, and engage. Because that's what's going to take you to the next level. Whether or not you do it, that's the next step, right? But just the basic level, you have to be open to the idea of going live. Same thing applies to feedback. You have to be open to accept it. You look at it as strengths and opportunities, and then you run with whatever works for you, because you can filter, right? But if you are the type that is close-minded and says, nah, I want feedback, but no, I don't want feedback. Or you want feedback and, wait, what? Erica, you said this? Like, no. What? How? No, you don't do that. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate your feedback. And then you go through and you analyze it. You look at it and you think, actually, that might not be so bad. Or, I can kind of see what she's talking about, but that's not a good fit for us. Maybe at a later point, let's make a note, check, done. That's what I'm saying. I know, light bulb, right? It's just like, boop. Yeah, it's one of those things. Mickey says, go live or die. There's a social media hashtag for you. See what I did there? See what I did there? So keep that in mind. Boy, was that fire today or what on a Friday? Dang, we did good. Huh? You see what I did there? Mickey might not know because she showed up late, but the rest of you guys can see what I did there. So, all right, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic, wonderful weekend. I am jazzed about today. Like, this is just, I'll tell you, I woke up this morning and it just felt good. Like, I mean, most mornings will do that anyway, but literally today I woke up, and this is going to sound weird, but this morning I woke up and I was like, this is a money-making day. Now, that's not being cocky, and that's not saying anything about, like, my membership or any of that stuff. I am just literally, like, I just felt like everyone needed to know that message because they're going to make money today at some point. It was the weirdest feeling because I've never had that before, like in that sense. And it feels weird telling you guys. I'm totally being vulnerable right now because I don't want to sound like a jerk and I don't want to sound like I'm greedy. Like, that's not me. You guys know. It was just one of those feelings, and I was just like, wow. And it was. But it wasn't in the like, I got cash or I got credit or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was in the fact that I was doing the work that will pay out over time, right? Because we're not worried about the numbers right now. We're worried about building our relationships so that they last over time, because that is the sale that we want, is that over time relationship. We don't want that quick money for today. I mean, you know, that's great and all, but then what? So remember that you're not about the sales today. You're going to do the work today, but you're about the sales over time. And by doing the work today, that's what's going to lead you with having that customer journey and being able to really understand what it is you got to put in place for them to be able to keep coming back. And it all starts with you being able to show up, deliver, and engage. So I hope that showing the seeds. Yes, Mindy. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Erica. So I hope that was a great way to end your work week. I hope it sends you off into the weekend pumped and ready to go, and just, enjoy. Have a great weekend, you guys. And if you need anything, you know where to find me here on the page. And if you have any feedback on the new membership site or on the show, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much, Paula, and everyone have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys on Monday.